Welcome back to the review realm once again. We are well over 30 different album reviews or EP reviews for 2026. This is another one of them. If you are new to the show, please hit the like button on this, subscribe to the review realm. It always helps us out with these album reviews. You can find us on YouTube, of course, and on most streaming platforms, including Spotify. Links are in the description, QR codes in the corner of the video. Thanks for listening. And as always, joining me for another album review, we have the co-host of the Review Realm, Sam the SLB.
In the words of a mighty 90s philosopher, the years start coming, and they don't stop coming. So do the reviews. So,
And that is not the band we are talking about today. We are talking about a very different band. About to introduce them in a second, but you are right there. I don't think we've ever done this many album reviews in one year, ever. So kudos to us for just chugging along here, sticking with it. And we are sticking with it by covering this band who we have not covered before. Of course, we are talking about I can't yeah, like we were just talking about this offline, like just for a quick second. I can't believe this is only album number 6.
mhm.
Of course, we're talking about Evanescence and their new album Sanctuary.
Yeah, another band we have never reviewed. This is something with Evanescence I'm going to say, and I think this is going to be a theme for me for this whole album. Um, I've never disliked this band, but they've never ever kept my attention long enough to be, I would say, a diehard fan. So I don't dislike them, never have. Obviously we got the bangers from the early 2000s. Um, and when this one came up, I'm like, all right, I guess we're going to be checking out Sanctuary. So,
No, I'm in the same boat as you, Sam. I've never been I'm not a diehard fan of this band, but I've always I like that stuff off of Fallen, obviously. That's like we mentioned it, like that's probably their magnum opus is Fallen,
mhm.
their first album. And I was really surprised that because I know they took a break for a while after I think their second album, they took like kind of a hiatus. So that's
Yeah.
probably why this is only album number 6, but I know they've been active again um for a little while now, so I might as well just I don't know if I've ever listened to a full album from this band.
Nope. There's another one, another first. Without me going off on a tangent, recently I'm going through the Yes discography, start to finish, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, maybe at some point, John and I need to once a month pick a band, go through the discography as a whole, and just we can rank it. I don't know, just more for us, so we can kind of go through these artists we haven't really listened to in full.
Yeah.
So,
The only thing I'll say, it's not really a music thing for me, but the one little issue I have with this album right off the start is the cover art. I know that Amy Lee is the face of this band, obviously. That is very hard to argue. I would say it's like name another member of this band. Like I probably couldn't. Unless it was Jen Majora like 4 years ago, but she's been out of the band for a while. I don't really care for her like being front and center of the cover art, but it is what it is, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I actually do not dislike the cover. I don't think it's the worst cover. I'm looking at some of the other covers, like The Bitter Truth, where it's her. It looks like she has like a tab of acid on her tongue. You know?
Yeah, I guess maybe it must be a me thing because I think that's obviously her on the cover of Fallen and her on the cover of The Open Door. So it must, and I'm sure that's probably her on the Bitter Truth too. So maybe I'm just crazy here. I don't know. That seemed odd to me, but it seems like they've been doing it pretty consistently throughout their discography.
hmm Regardless, this is what I'll say about this album. I'm just gonna start from the top. I don't think there's a bad track on this album. Now, I don't feel like they reinvent the wheel here either. Like, if you were to ask me, hey, Sam, is there something bad? I couldn't really find a bad track, but there wasn't a lot of like ones that made me go, this is like a this is incredible. There's great tracks on here, and there's a lot of great songs on here, but I don't think there were any stinkers, and I was just like, all right, this is a good album. You can listen to it. You might like it, you might not like it, but that was my takeaway.
What I'll say, like, kind of off this bat, is this is a lot more synthy than I remember this band being.
Very synthy, very electronic. I'll get
Yeah.
right into the opening track. I really like the opening track, "Beautiful Lie," because the way I imagine, especially when you're tracking an album, is how do I want to see this band live? Like I can imagine this song kicking off the live set and being a banger of an opener.
Hmm.
It has a little bit of synth there. It has that guitar cutting in and out for the riff. But no, there's a lot of synth, and I think they were trying to go for that live feel on this album.
I agree with you that there's not really anything bad on this album. However, I don't feel like there's a lot of variety here either.
Hmm.
Like, especially the singles, like, Who Will You Follow? I was like, "This is a single?" And I was like, not just not I really felt like Afterlife was the better one. That one was okay, and I know that was heavily involved in a Netflix show, like, late last year.
I actually, it's funny. I didn't even see what songs were the singles. A few handful of these tracks, they kind of felt like they were just very, just like I was expecting like a tempo change or something, and they just seemed to kind of like flow into each other. Afterlife, I think that's listed as one of my favorite songs on this album. I'm just trying to go through what I had. Yeah, no, that was one
Yeah.
of the ones I really liked. Um, Who You Will Follow. The opening reminded me a little bit of My Immortal. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the guitar tone. I thought the guitar tone on this was pretty good too. This whole album.
Yeah, I would say the first half of this album is the half where I feel like there's mostly no variety. Um, the title track I actually really like. I felt like there was a solid riff on that one, and it felt like on most of the album, the guitar kind of was just a foundation, really, and
Hmm.
I felt like they focused a lot more on, like, the, like, sequencers and, like, electronic stuff on this. But there was surprisingly decent riffs on this album, like the title track was one, "Self-Destruct"
Hmm.
was another one for me.
Self Destruct sounded like it was like off their first album,
Yeah,
like very traditional. Yeah, actually, ironically, Sanctuary was one of the other tracks I really liked.
yep.
Like I really liked it. How Do I Heal?
Yes.
It's gonna be the weirdest thing. So, How Do I Heal? The opening piano piece sounded like Let It Go from the Disney movie for a moment, but like in almost like a minor, like a little more of a minor key. But I don't know. That song was great. Those three
No
tracks are in back to back, and I thought that part of the album was really good.
no, "How Do I Heal?" I said, "I like when Amy Lee sounds like this."
Hmm.
There's something very strong about this band when they do stuff like that. This is like the My Immortal of this album, pretty much.
Exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
It's very vulnerable, very heartfelt. Also, Amy doesn't sound like she's aged at
No,
all.
she sounds exactly the same. Yeah.
One of the other songs I actually found really enjoyable was "Calm Down," and because it reminded me of something off the 2016 Doom soundtrack. Um, Arguably one of the best video game soundtracks of all time.
Yeah.
If not just of the 21st century. But um, the one I think was my least favorite, if I was to give any, was "Forever Without You." Maybe it's the placement of the album.
Not
Um,
as good of a softer track, that one.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I was trying to figure out what they were doing with it. I know they were trying to do maybe another vulnerable piece, but by the time I got to this, I'm like, hey, I feel like we already did this on "How Do I Heal."
Yeah, it doesn't really hit the same. It kind of a lackluster ending, too. Also, I think one of the downsides of the album was "About Us." I kind of felt like it was a little too direct with the lyrics on that one.
If you took out, because I actually liked the song, but I put the song sounds kind of corny with the line "Give a damn about us."
Right.
If you took that line out, I think the song would have definitely been a lot better. But that's a nitpick of ours. It's very
Yeah, I'd say. But overall, I was actually surprised with this. It's not like it's not an album that I think will like break down barriers of the genre or whatever. But I was actually a little surprised with this that this was actually um a little bit different than I remember the band being. But it's
Mhm.
probably just because it's where they're at right now. And I actually thought this was okay.
Yeah. No, I thought it. Again, I don't think it's like it probably won't be my album of the year, but I don't think there's really a bad track on here, and it's definitely going to have something for everybody. Also, funny enough, and I only bring this up, was not going to mention it, but I think I sent you the article from I think Revolver magazine where they said this is the best metal album of the year. So when I remember I sent that to you, like, oh, we haven't even touched this one yet, and you're like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to find out. So I know, guys. Let us know in the comments. Is this an album of the year contender?
Yeah, definitely let us know in the comments below. I guess you'll find out if we find it as an album of the year contender once we get to the end of 2026. I can't wait to do the top tens because we're gonna have we're gonna have covered a lot of albums. So this will probably be the most interesting top 10 of the year we do. Um, that's our thoughts on Evanescence's new album, Sanctuary. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.